back again, continuing our sort of video whiteboarding brainstorm sessions. And today I'm going to focus on some just beginner tips for hikers, and they're going to kind of focus on three main areas. First, gear and prep, as well as things to do on the trail. And lastly, if we have time, we'll jump into a little bit of safety etiquette. Again, I'm a novice, so this is pretty much like some very short, quick bullet points that I've pulled from the research I've done, and just something I want to share on the channel with the community. Again, thoughts, comments, ideas, any feedback, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. So let's jump right into it. So let's talk about gear and prep first. Choosing the right trail is super important, right? Consider your fitness level. How active are you regularly? If you're like me, you kind of got an office job, you're sitting down all day, pretty stationary. So starting out, you probably want to go light, right? You don't want to bite off more than you can chew. I spoke to this in a few videos ago about kind of checking your ego at the door and understanding, what you're capable of, right? And just being respectful of that, kind of respecting your body. And if you stay consistent, you can kind of build to like the more, challenging trails and whatnot. Of course, there are websites. What else do I have here? Websites, hiking apps, and even like if you go to different parks, they have some park rangers that can kind of give you some insight on the trails and what to expect, and if to really determine if it's a good fit for you. Next, of course, is checking the weather, right? Check the forecast. You want to make sure that you dress appropriately, you wear the right clothing. If it's too cold, you don't want to wear too light of you don't want your clothing apparel to be too light to where you're freezing cold, right? And just the opposite, if it's super hot, of course, you don't want like super heavy long sleeve clothing on all the time, because dehydration's a thing. So of course, check the weather. Proper footwear. I think people, your primary tool, right? One of your primary tools in hiking are your feet. You take care of your feet, you take care of you. So proper footwear is a good thing. Being sure to do some research, invest in, some good hiking boots that offer, the appropriate amount of support and protection for you, because that differs from person to person. And then packing, right? You want to pack smart. You also kind of want to pack light too. So you got to kind of find that happy medium to where you're packing light and packing smart. You want to be as efficient as possible when you're packing, but at the same time, you don't want to underestimate, right? And get in situations where you don't have enough water or you don't have enough food. It can kind of put you in a really sticky situation, if you know what I mean. But of course, the essentials like, navigation, whether it be a compass, water, snacks, first aid kit, things like that. Some essential things that you really want to make sure that you have at all times. Now let's move to tips for the trail, right? Definitely, particularly for more novice hikers, I would stick to marked trails. I found a lot of information on the web about, making sure you kind of follow these marked trails. Number one, somebody with a lot more experience and knowledge than you has taken the time to kind of set this path and mark this path for you. So a lot of thought and care customarily has gone into, choosing these trails. Secondly, you also want to minimize, staying to the trail also kind of minimizes environmental impact, right? You don't really want to leave a human trace of, you being everywhere, right? You want to minimize that. And of course, the most obvious reason is to avoid getting lost. I can't imagine, being out, it's getting late, you decided to go off trail, you know, you get excited by something, or you're playing around, fooling around, or you're playing with your phone, and you look up, and all of a sudden you kind of forget, like, oh man, where did I come from? You know, which way did I go? Or, you know, was that the tree, or is that the tree? Was that the bush? You know, and it can just get, you know, it can get bad out there. So, you know, sticking to marked trails, pacing yourself. I think that's a really good one that I found. Again, checking your ego, you know what I mean? Not getting overexcited, overstimulated. Just stay at a reasonable pace, you know, that you can maintain, and something that you, basically a pace that you can foresee yourself maintaining for, you know, long periods of time, depending on, I guess, you know, the hike time estimation. Of course, while you're on the trail, you want to hydrate and snack, you know, regularly. You know, definitely, they were saying to stick with high energy snacks like, you know, energy bars and trail mix to kind of, you know, rekindle your energy. And of course, leaving no trace. Finally, right? You know, pack your trash. You know, don't throw it on the trail. Don't throw it, you know, down in the forest. You know, we don't want to contribute, you know, to polluting, you know, our trails. You know, again, people will have taken the time to kind of mark these out for us and lay these out. And we don't want to just, you know, be disrespectful and just throw your trash everywhere. Finally, a couple of safety and etiquette tips. For safety reasons, tell somebody about your plans. You know, you always want to inform somebody when you're going hiking. Let them know where you're going to go, what trail you're going to be at, approximately how long you're going to be, when you're going, when to expect you back. Somebody kind of having that information on you can be a lifesaver, and it's huge. It's super important for safety reasons. And then for etiquette purposes, right of way. When I was looking this up, it was kind of interesting. So generally, hikers going uphill have the right of way, right? So if somebody's going uphill, you know, just be kind enough and respectful enough to kind of step aside and let them walk past you. You know what I mean? If they're at a higher pace, they may be a more experienced hiker. They might be trying to meet a mark, or maybe catch up with somebody, or for whatever reason. The point is that they're on the same trail as you, but they're going a little bit faster. Etiquette was just to kind of step aside and let them go, instead of blocking their way and making them kind of walk at your pace. Because you can maintain your pace by just stepping aside and then letting them go past, and no harm, no foul. Just being polite, some simple etiquette tips. But yep, that's it for now. A few tips for novice hikers, when you get out there. Again, any ideas, thoughts, comments, feel free to leave them below. Take a half a second, click like. It helps this channel a lot. Subscribe, it helps me a lot, and I really appreciate it.